Hi, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from, any part of the world. Today I'm going to talk about how to multiply your income with authenticity. A lot of us struggle with multiplying our income, even earning a decent income in many phases of our lives. So, one of the things that can help you to really attract financial success, financial abundance, is being authentic to yourself. What does authenticity really mean? That's the first question. Because a lot of us are not being authentic to ourselves, authentic to the world around us. So, authenticity means doing what it is that you love, it means being true to yourself, doing what you know is right, and actually staying true to your word and taking action. A lot of us have met people, or we do this. We say that we'll do certain things, but we don't actually do them. So that means being inauthentic. That doesn't mean being authentic. Being authentic means doing what you say, it means sticking to your word. And that just does not mean when you tell other people something, it means being true to yourself also. How many times do you tell yourself that tomorrow I'll wake up and go to the gym? I'll work towards my goal of losing weight, and you don't even do it. So that means you're not being authentic to yourself. That's exactly what it means. So today, let's talk about how being authentic can lead to financial success. Because when you are authentic to yourself, you are in a positive and high vibration. And what does that do? That expands your magnetic field and it attracts abundance to you naturally. And this especially happens when you're working towards what it is that you like. A lot of us are not happy doing what we are on a daily basis. A lot of us are stuck in a struggle cycle. And this means that we are creating blocks for ourselves. Because when we do not do what it is that we love, what it is that we are passionate about, and we are unhappy, it means we are constricting our magnetic field, and the financial success and abundance that we desire does not come to us. So I'm just going to go a few years back and tell you about my experiences around how I was not being authentic with myself, and what kind of consequences I had to face as a result of that. When I was in the corporate world, I was in the corporate world for about 15 years plus. And around 2014, I started knowing that I wanted to do something different. I knew that I wanted to find a way to help people live a better life, but I couldn't place my finger on it. I didn't know what it is that I exactly wanted to do. Because I didn't know, I didn't really have the time to search further. What I did was I just kept jumping jobs. It's like I was unhappy in working in the corporate world, simply because it required you to report to work at a certain time. It needed some certain level of discipline, right? So it was not my kind of thing. I wanted a bit more flexibility. Also, it was not aligned to my core purpose and values. So I'm not saying that the corporate world is a bad place. Absolutely not. It's a wonderful place to be, but it's not meant for everyone. And I was one of those people. So what happened over the years? Because I didn't have the time, I didn't have the drive. My paradigm was getting in the way of me looking for what it is that I really wanted to do. I kept being unhappy in those different jobs that I was in, and I kept jumping jobs. So I was not being authentic to myself. Do you see what I mean? I knew that I wanted to do something different, but I didn't make an effort to find it. I didn't go the extra mile to find what it is that I really wanted to do. And in the process, because I still needed the money, I kept jumping different jobs, and I was unhappy wherever I was going. And in that process, I was being inauthentic to other people as well, because I was in places where I wasn't able to serve to my fullest potential. When you're not happy being somewhere, you're not going to deliver your best, isn't it? That's very natural. So you see, when you are not authentic to yourself, you're also not being authentic to other people. Because when you do what it is that you love, you will deliver your best and serve others to your best of ability, right? So I kept getting stuck. When I kept jumping jobs, I kept getting stuck because I was constantly unhappy. And I kept looking for the next better thing, thinking that the next and the next will be better than the previous one. And it never got any better because I wasn't meant to be there in the first place. So how did things turn around for me? So my journey started in July of 2021 when I came across my mentor Bob Proctor. When I attended his workshops, I learned that it was possible for anyone to achieve anything that they wanted. And that is the time I made an immediate decision that I am going to become a consultant under his institution, because I really resonated with his information. And as soon as I started studying everything that he was teaching, my life started to turn around. So what did I do? I decided to be authentic with myself, and I decided to take action towards it. So I learned from Bob Proctor that you can actually do what resonates with you, meaning you have to be authentic to yourself and other people. Now most of us, we continue living our lives the way they are. We don't make any changes. Why? Because we don't know how, right? That's where we are stuck. But what I'd like you to understand, what I learned from my mentor Bob Proctor, is that with the power of your mind, anything is possible. All you have to do is make a decision. Now everything started to turn around when I met my mentor. But guess what? It didn't happen itself. I had to take action. It just didn't happen, right? When I started doing exactly what he told me to do, I was able to transition from my 9 to 5 job into my current practice and multiply my income within a year. All right? So when I decided to be authentic with myself, things started working out for me. Because what does it do? Authenticity puts you in the right vibration. The right vibration, meaning a high positive vibration, will only bring good to you. All right? Now, a lot of us try to do things, that we don't enjoy, that don't really work for us. But because we need the money, we need to earn a living, we need to survive, we are constantly in that vibration of a need, wanting something, right? And that does not put you in the right vibration, hence it blocks the abundance from coming to you. So if you are somebody who does not enjoy what they do, this is something that you really really need to rethink. All right? So how did my transformation happen? How did my authenticity exactly help me? What are the exact steps that I took in order to be authentic with myself? So I am going to share a few lessons with you to put it into context, right? So the number one thing that I did was I asked myself what it is that I really wanted. So when you want to be authentic, that is the first thing you need to ask yourselves, what it is that you really want. Because when you go for what it is that you really want, then you're being authentic to yourself, and that's when everything starts to fall in place for you. Now most of us are too afraid to define what it is that we want. Why? Because we are afraid what our parents will say, what our immediate families, friends, colleagues, what people around will tell us. They're so used to us doing certain things, right? So let's say if you are an accountant and you want to become a baker, your family is going to be like, hey, Jane, but you've always been an accountant. This is how we've seen you. This is what you're suitable to do. And this is what you should continue doing. And what happens? Very soon, what you really want goes in the background. It fades away. So what I'd like you to know that whatever it is that you want, that want would not have been there if you are not meant to have it. And you owe it to yourself to expand those possibilities and go for what it is that you want, because you have the talent and abilities to achieve what it is that you want. So there are three kinds of wants. Number one, people normally go for what they want is based on what they know how to achieve. So a lot of us, we settle for very small pay rises. We settle for very small increments in our life because we know how to get them. That's not what you should be going for. Some of us go for something of a slightly higher level, but we may have an idea of how to go around it. So this is something that doesn't excite you or inspire you. Yes, it causes you to grow, but you don't get excited, nor do you get inspired by this idea. And that's also something that you should not be going for. What you should really, really be going for is something that you really want, something that excites you, scares you, and inspires you at the same time. And this is the thing that will make you authentic with yourself. So let me tell you what happened to me when it came to this particular stage. When I met my mentor, Bob Proctor, I wanted to become a consultant under his institution. The investment needed to become a consultant under his institution requires an investment of $30,000. I did not have the $30,000. But what did I do? I made a firm decision that I am already a consultant under Bob Proctor's institution. Within within about 8 to 9 months, I actually became a consultant under his institution. How did this happen? By making a decision, I attracted the resources, people, and circumstances that I needed to attract in order to become a consultant under his institution. So, do you see how I personally did not compromise what it is that I really wanted? What do most of you do? You're not being authentic to yourself, you're compromising on the idea of what it is that you really want, because you have decided that you're going to operate based on your current circumstances. You do not get to decide what works and what doesn't work. So long as you have a clear idea of what it is that you really want, when you set your mind to it, it is 100% possible to achieve it with the right steps. So what's the second thing that I did? Now, to get what you want, you have to change on a day-to-day basis what it is that you're doing. Don't expect different results if you're doing the same thing day in, day out. Let me be very clear about that, right? Because your days build your weeks build your months build your years, and your years build your life, isn't it? So today, if you just sit and decide not to do anything about it, you don't take any action towards what it is that you want. You don't change your daily habits. Don't expect different results. Don't expect things to change, right? So what did I do? One of the things that my mentor Bob Proctor taught me was to study, which I still do in my current practice. Studying means it helps you to build your awareness levels. When you repeatedly study, when you continuously study, your consciousness expands and it helps you to take action towards what it is that you want. It also expands your magnetic fields and it starts bringing in the right people, situations, and circumstances. But again, you have to make sure that you're studying the right material. And studying is not enough. You must implement. Are you implementing whatever it is that you've been taught? And when I talk about daily habits, I don't just mean taking action. I also mean thinking in the right way. So that is one of the things that really helped me achieve my goal of becoming a consultant under Bob Proctor's institution. Because remember, I didn't have the money. If I just had the money, I'll just have immediately made the payment, invested in it, and become a consultant under his institution with immediate effect. But that was not the case. So I had to do some work from my mind in order to be able to attract the right resources towards me. So thinking in the right direction is very important. So what most of you are doing at the moment is that you're taking action, but your thinking is in the wrong direction. So it's the opposite direction of what you are trying to do. So the two are repelling each other. So you're absolutely not getting the results that you want. All right. So start thinking, based on what it is that you want. What actions are you going to start taking? What kind of thinking are you going to implement in your life on a daily basis? What changes are you going to make on a daily basis so that you can build up moving towards whatever it is that you want? When your thinking and your actions are not aligned, it results in a struggle cycle. And this is where majority of the population is sitting as we speak. So you have to make some of these daily changes. Now, we hate getting uncomfortable. We hate change. But if you don't get uncomfortable, if you don't embrace change, don't expect your results to be any different. Don't expect the change that you want. You'll only be longing and wishing for it. If you don't do anything about it, nothing's ever going to happen. And remember, by you deciding to change your life on a daily basis, doing the right thing, thinking the right way, this means you're being authentic to yourself. All right. So by be authentic by doing daily what will contribute by to you getting to your goals. This is very, very important. The number three factor of being authentic also means overcoming fear. Most of us are just consumed by fear because we are so worried about what people will tell us. We are so worried what they'll think about us. We are worried about how they'll react if we tell them that this is what I really want to do. Let's say I want to quit my full-time 9 to 5 job and I want to get into what it is that I really want to do. What will my husband say? How will he react? What will my friends say? What will my family say? We are so worried about these doubts. We are so into these doubts and worries that we forget about what we are really meant to do. And we also don't believe in ourselves enough, right? We have a fear that what if, your job keeps you safe, right? It gives you a constant source of income. But when you go for what it is that you really want, it has a level of risk. But guess what? There is one thing I'd like you to know, that when you decide to face that fear, when you take that leap, the universe automatically starts supporting you and things start working in your favor, because you overcoming your fear and taking that leap is a clear message to the universe that you're ready for this. And guess what? It will definitely support you. So stop worrying, stop not believing in yourself. Self belief is the biggest key to being authentic to yourself. When you doubt yourself, when you worry that things will not work out, it means you lack faith. Lacking faith means you're not being authentic to yourself. Why would you think that you're not good enough to do something? Have you ever thought about that? Everybody has the same abilities and capabilities. It's just that we don't use them to the same level, to the same extent. We do not know how to draw our capabilities and abilities and talents in order to fulfill what it is that we want. So be authentic to yourself. Start doing this. Overcome that fear. Take that leap and see how life starts transforming for you. All right? So your paradigm will always want to get in the way, by creating situations in your mind that don't even exist. It wants you to stay where you are. Do you think that serves you? Absolutely not. Imagine, when you are 60 years old, when you're 70, 80 years old, and you look back at your life and you think, wow, I wish I would have done XYZ. I wish I would have done ABCD. Do you want to be in that position? I don't think so. So, this is the time to start being authentic to yourself. When you overcome those fearful thoughts, those doubts and worries, when you take that leap and the universe starts supporting you, you absolutely shift into the right vibration, and all the financial success and abundance that you wish starts coming to you. Of course, I'm not saying that you're not supposed to take any action. You are going to have to put in some work for sure. You are going to have to take some action on a daily basis in order to get closer to your goals. But as you do that, when you move towards your goal moves towards you. That is how the law of the universe works, right? So be authentic to yourself. Don't be authentic to the fear within you. Be authentic to yourself by going for what it is that you want. Overcome that fear and see how life starts changing for you. Just doing it is the trick. The cave that you fear to enter is the one that holds the treasure you seek. This is a very famous quote that was said by one of these gurus in the personal development world. I can't remember his name, but that is a quote that personally resonates with me. When I feel very, very fearful about something, that is the thing I do first. So, in the context of me becoming a consultant, as part of the process, I was supposed to contact a certain lady, you know, and I remember I completely hit the terror barrier. I was sweating and I was shaking when I was supposed to write an email to her. I was supposed to get in touch with her on LinkedIn. And you know what? The first thought I had in my mind was that, will she even respond to me? She's such a busy lady. Why would she help me? So, this is somebody who actually helped me get this practice going. It's somebody who helped me get it in the initial stages. So when I wrote to her, I almost backed out, but I'm so glad I didn't, because a year and few months later, my life has completely transformed. So think about it. What is that one action that you've been postponing, that you've not been taking because you've been so scared? You feel like, what if they don't get back to me? Why would they be interested in helping me? What if it doesn't work out? I want you to discard all those thoughts and just do it, because that's the secret of overcoming your fear. Another example that I'd like to share around fear is how I made a decision to quit my job in 30 seconds. When I started my current practice in March last year, I was still in a full time job working from home. So towards July, my work and my current practice started getting a bit too much for me to juggle. So there was a day I was studying, the program that I currently offer, Thinking into Results. I was studying it myself. So it was a Sunday and I was seated in one of the restaurants, and I was working on the workbook. And the workbook question asked me, what is this one thing that you need to do that will cause you fear, but it will help you move closer to your goal? And the answer came to me straight away that said that I need to quit my job. And I wrote it down in the workbook, and I made a decision in less than 30 seconds to do that. I immediately informed my supervisor via WhatsApp that I'll be leaving the job so that I don't go back on my decision. When you make a decision quickly, when you make a decision within the right time frame, meaning the first 30 seconds, you must make sure that you inform somebody for accountability so that you don't go back on your decision, because your paradigm always kicks in after the first 30 seconds. All right. So the right decision comes from your intuition. When you know that something is right for you, you know it in the first 30 seconds, and you must go for it because that's the right thing to do. Because what happens after 30 seconds? Your paradigm kicks in. So you go back to your old ways of thinking and making decisions. Your logic kicks in, and your paradigm controls your logic. And guess what? You remain where you are. And that's why most of you are where you are at the moment in your life, because you've not been able to make decisions in the right way. But it's not your fault. None of us are taught how to make decisions in the right way. All right. Then I have self image. Self image is the next step in being authentic to yourself. Self image is the concept that you have of yourself. Most of us are not authentic to ourselves when it comes to self image, because we underestimate our capabilities. We undermine ourselves. We think we can't do what somebody else can do. There's so many people we look up to, but we feel like, you know what, I can never be there. For those who watched my session last week, I gave an example of how I used to admire one of my best friends when she would give a speech on stage in high school. And I always looked at her and thought, like, I can never be like her. I can never speak in front of people, right? Because I could never do it at that time. And at the same time, she would also participate in debates, express her opinions so openly, so easily. And I could never do that. I never participated in absolutely any debates throughout my entire life, school life. It just never happened because I lacked the confidence. My self image was not appropriate. I didn't have the right self image. So I'd like you to know that you're made in God's perfect image, meaning whatever it is that you want to do, you're absolutely capable of doing. So you don't have to think that I can't do certain things and only certain people can do certain things. So first what you need to do is understand where that is coming from. That is coming from some sort of conditioning from your childhood. The way people reacted to things that you did, the way people responded to you when it came to certain things in your life, the way you are told certain things, that you can't do this, you can do this, or you can't, let's say you can't swim because water is dangerous. You shouldn't go to places where there's heights because heights are dangerous. A lot of us are told different things. Some of us are scared of horse riding, for instance, because that fear was crippled in us as children, right? So whatever it is that you want to do, your self image needs to be able to be aligned with whatever it is that you want to do. Remember, you can never outperform your self image, you can only change it. So you have to be authentic to yourself by allowing yourself to express yourself fully, because that is the only way you will have an adequate self image. Your self image is what you think from yourself, from within yourself. Now self image is not just about looking good, looking outwardly confident. It's actually about how you feel about yourself from your own deepest parts of your mind. How do you feel about yourself when you go out in a crowd and you start greeting people? Do you feel that you're good enough to be in that crowd, or do you feel that you don't fit in, for instance, in a certain kind of crowd? When you go to, let's say, a very elevated place, do you feel like you fit in? And if somebody offers you, let's say, a deal of $1 million, do you feel you're good enough to receive that $1 million deal? So all that is self-image. How do you consistently feel about yourself? What do you think of yourself? And remember, this is you being authentic to yourself, meaning it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Everybody said a lot of things about you when you are a child and you grew up with those beliefs. They were just drilled into you and you just took everything that was given to you. So you started believing that you're a certain sort of person, you're a certain kind of person. Yet, you're meant to be way better, much more than what you currently are. And remember, your self image is always evolving based on what your goals are. Now, until you don't align your self image with your goals, you'll never be able to achieve what it is that you really want. So, you have to be authentic to yourself. Ask yourself what it is that you really want. And then, in line with that, what kind of self image do I need? What kind of concept of myself do I need to hold so that I can achieve what it is that I want? So once you understand what shapes you, you do not need to hold any kind of guilt, and you do not take responsibility for what others did to you, all right? An example that I'd like to share with you here is, how I just overcame my fear of speaking in front of people. So I never had any formal training when it comes to speaking in front of people. I did a very short training in 2015, for about 3 to 6 months, but that's something that faded in the background. I never used those skills. So I came back, my paradigm came back, and became the person I was when I was in high school, the not so confident person. I couldn't show myself in public, I couldn't speak in front of people. So how did my image just transform? It transformed when I started understanding, where all this fear, all this not feeling good enough was coming from. When I had that understanding, and that is why I talked about studying as a daily habit. When you study, when you understand and you apply the concepts that you learn, it expands your awareness and it completely starts shifting you as a person. So make sure that you are engaged in some daily study habit that is aligned with the goals that you want to achieve in your life. So when I started studying and understanding what had impacted my self image, everything just went out of the window all of a sudden. My paradigm shifted and I just started speaking in front of people. My fear completely went because I learned that we are all equal. The one point that really resonated with me was that we are all equal, we are all spirits, that represent ourselves within these bodies. Nobody is different from the other. It's just that everybody is operating from a different paradigm level, right? Your paradigm determines where you will end up in life. So when I learned this, all my fear just went down the drain and I became a completely different person. A whole new transformation came in me. So again, I decided to be authentic with myself by giving myself that chance to do whatever it is that I wanted and to study and transform myself to an extent that I could deliver what I'm meant to do. Because if I don't have the confidence to speak in front of people, I cannot deliver these tips to you. I cannot deliver these classes to you, right? It's part of what I love to do. So if I had not developed that confidence, I would not be able to do this. So I chose to be authentic to myself. I chose that I wanted to drive this transformation in my life. And with the current practice that I started doing, with all these shifts, by overcoming my fears, by shifting my self image, by changing my daily habits, by investing in myself, I was able to multiply my income effectively without much effort. Because when you work towards, when your daily life is about what you love to do, you are never working even a day in your life, right? It's your passion that automatically drives you. So the last bit I'd like to mention is invest in yourself. Rather than trying to figure it out all yourself, get a help from a guide, coach, mentor who has the results that you want and who helps you move towards what it is that you would like to achieve. And this will make the journey more exciting and so easy and flawless. And that's exactly what I did. I invested with my mentor, Bob Proctor, and with his knowledge, with his instructions and guidance, I was able to get my current practice into realization. And now I can do what it is that I love. So I cut out all that time that I would have taken to do things myself. Why would you do that to yourself? So that's another part of being authentic to yourself. Ask yourself, do you want to go through this struggle by yourself? Absolutely not. Why struggle when somebody can show you an easy way, right? So the thing is that you have to do the work. As much as the coach, mentor, and guide, will take you through the process and guide you, it all boils down to you. You have to do the work. But get the help that you need today. Don't sit around and wait. That is what I would say. So today I'd like to leave you with a challenge here. Think of the one thing that you have really wanted to do, but you've been afraid of doing. Think of the why you want it. How is it going to impact your life? How is it going to impact the people around you? How will it benefit all of you, right? And what I'd like you to do is make a decision and just do it. Just go for it. And for those who actually take up this challenge today, when you take your action, I want you to take action tomorrow, straight away, or even today if you can. Share your experience in the comment section of this video. I want to hear from you. You can even get in touch with me directly through my website. I'll be putting up a link later on. So make a decision. And whatever it is that you've been holding back, whatever you've been fearing, but you know it's the right thing to do and you really wanted it, I want you to take one action step towards it. And I'll wait for your comments on my video, all right? So today I'd like to make a very exciting announcement because I have a very, very special offer for everyone here today. We talked about being authentic to ourselves, right? So I have a step-by-step system that can help you be authentic to yourself, and it will help you multiply the abundance in your life. It has $1,000 value, but I'm offering it for only $450 for the next 2 weeks, or only 45,000 shillings for those who are in the same country as me in Kenya. So grab this offer because it's only valid for the next 2 weeks. All the steps that I have mentioned to you in this particular video, I help you work through those steps one by one so that you can move towards what it is that you want. So ask yourself, have you made the decision to be authentic to yourself today? All right. So I'm going to be posting the link to that particular course on the comment section of this video. If you are serious about being authentic to yourself and multiplying your abundance, your income, get in touch with me. The same link has a contact section below it. So when you go to that link at the bottom and you scroll down, there's a contact section, right? So thank you very much for watching this video. And this is where I'll be ending it.